Hello and welcome. I'm your host, author Ryan M. Oliver, and this is the Mighty Books Podcast. This episode's featured author is Iris Miranda. Iris Janet Miranda is from Puerto Rico. She moved to the United States at age 17, where over the years she earned herself a bachelor's degree in business management, a master's degree in business administration, and an executive juris doctorate from Kaplan's University. She works for the Department of Defense, is an entrepreneur, a podcaster, and is even an Amazon bestseller. But that's not all. Throughout the years, she has lived in many countries and states, moving around with her military husband. Lastly, but surely not least, she is the proud mother of 8 wonderful people. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Thank you, Ryan, for sharing these fun, insightful, and interesting author interviews with us. My name is BJ with Pop Mindset, and I have a gift for each of you. One of the number one keys for your success and mine is reaching new people. The easiest way to do that is when you really understand what flock that person flies with. So I would love to invite you to hop on over to the website popmindset.com, look under the free resources for the free personality profile quiz so you can understand just a little bit more about what flock you fly with and how to speak the language of your prospect, your coworker, your family, and your clients. Thanks again, Ryan. Looking forward to many more author interviews.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Books Podcast. Today with me, I have Iris Miranda. Iris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Of course, my pleasure. So today we're here to talk about your book and your career. What is the title of your book?
So the title of my book is in Spanish. It's also in Portuguese, but it's Floreciendo en otras tierras sin perder tu acento, which in English means flourishing in another land without losing your accent. And when I say accent, I'm not really talking about that accent that you hear in my voice when I speak English, but it's also who you are, the essence of your persona, the beauty of you, of your culture, of your traditions. I don't know if you're familiar with Sofia Vergara. Almost everybody know, right? Sofia Vergara from Modern Family.
Yes. Yes.
And she speak a lot about how she never lose her accent. She actually embrace her accent. And so that is what is about the book. The book, it also give, I'm going to say, neuro-linguistic programming techniques with a lot of auto-analysis that it help you find the beauty in yourself with that entity that is you.
Okay. So it's helping you retain the part of yourself that you brought with you to America or to other language speaking country, and to maintain a hold of yourself, your identity.
Exactly. And sometimes we think that it only have to do with migrating from one country to another country, but if you notice, in the United States, all states are different. I remember when we moved from New York to New Jersey when I was a kid, and I have to change the way I was acting in Jersey because Jersey was another thing. I cannot behave the same way that I was acting in Brooklyn when I moved to Jersey, So those techniques not only can help those people to migrate from one country to another, but also when you make those changes on your environment and the city or the state where you are.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, just like how you had to change how you act. My wife was from originally from the East Coast and moved over to the West Coast when she was like 9 or 10, and just using certain phrases, she had to stop using, like the term book bag. We call it a backpack in the West Coast, and you're like, "What's a book bag?" And man, you know what I mean? And gave her crud for it. And I just thought that was a really silly thing to do. But people are people are weird. They kind of tend to attack the things that are different, that they haven't gotten used to, or at least question it. So it's interesting how you kind of have to change what you're doing to, try to be accepted in a new group. So is the book helping you kind of balance both between, learning a new culture and keeping a hold of your own culture too?
Yes, definitely. Basically, not only embracing who you are, but accepting the change.
Mhm.
Because I think that's what we all humans refuse changes, right? Even when we working in a company and now they have a new CEO or they change the new process of whatever, is your regular duties at the job, they change and now you don't want it. And then we start criticizing, oh, before it was better. We always tend to see the past with some type of melancholic view, right? Oh, before, I remember when before we used to do this, what a good old times. But the reality is the changes happen everywhere. And the more that we refuse to accept those changes, the more difficult that is for you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of data by psychologists and science that it shows that those people that accept the changes and go with those changes create some type of mechanism within themselves that they are able to confront difficult situations in an easier way. So it's basically a way how we can learn to accept those changes but at the same time embrace who you are in that past or who you were in that past.
Okay. And so do you quote some of this data in your book then?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes, there's a lot of personal experience from when I moved from Puerto Rico. My mother was the one that wanted to move to United States because we used to live in a project in Puerto Rico that it was a lot of drug activities and crime, and she wanted to get us out of there. But the funny thing is that she had no clue that where she was moving us was worse than what we left in Puerto Rico. But the thing is that she was not aware. We were not aware because we did not know the surrounding.
Yeah.
We did not understood the language. And at that time in United States, they have the law of the what they call bilingual education. So there was a class that by law, the government at that time allowed that those kids or those students that do not know the language, they can go to another class at the end of the day and have a comprehension of what was, going on in those different classes. That law do not exist anymore. Now every school, the school district do not have that program anymore. Now everything is in English, and if you have any extra curriculum, oh yes, like I don't know, getting French classes, Spanish classes. But at that time, they were mandatory for bilingual kids to go to these classes. So I really did not learn the perfect English because of the fact that I was going into the Spanish class. They were explaining me almost everything in Spanish. So we didn't know what was going on. We didn't have this friendship with other kids in town that they speak English. So when she bring us to United States, we were like super mad at her. Why you bringing us to this place? You know, we cannot understand what was the change because we know what was going on in town. She had no idea, but we knew what was going on because we were the one outside,
Mhm.
playing with kids or going to the school. So when that change happened to me, I have a lot of resistance. I did not like my town. I did not like the friends. I did not like the food, not the weather. I didn't like nothing. And I was completely like hating it. Every year, the past, my illusion was going back to Puerto Rico. That was my dream. I will go back one day. Now, where I am, I'm an adult and I love it where I live. I'm in the state of Washington and I have moved everywhere in United States.
Mhm.
As a military wife, we've been living in Virginia, we've been living in Florida, in California. in Utah, in
Jeez.
Washington. I mean, we've been everywhere, Connecticut, and that's without counting all the other countries that we have lived, Japan, Spain, Guantanamo,
Oh
we've
man.
been everywhere.
Yeah.
And, but I'm going to say the ability that I have to adjust to all those different places is due to the fact that I work with myself and I understood and I accept the changes and I try to embrace those changes
Mhm.
wherever I was going. And so that's mostly what the book, how the book bring the differences on culture and demographic.
Right. Right. It sounds like you're incredibly adaptable. And
Yes.
I think that people will, folks who are like yourself, who've come here, emigrated to the US, or maybe they immigrated to a different country, military families, as you have
Yes.
so eloquently put, even like you said, going from state to state, holy cow, how many different states have you lived in? Just, I mean, off the top of your
Boy,
head.
I think 7.
Yeah, that's quite a
Mhm.
few. That's quite a few, and all have different cultures, like you said. So, I mean, you definitely have the experience in, adapting, overcoming, and embracing the culture that you're living in. So, if people are wanting to
Yeah.
learn a little bit about how to do that,
Yes.
very
Well, let me give
sweet.
you an example.
Read your book.
When we were living in Japan, we met military members and their families that were there hating the whole time that the orders were there.
Oh,
If the orders were 3, 4 years, they were hating it. They never went out in the town to get to know other parts of Japan, to get to know the food, no, they only stay within the perimeters of the base.
that's a
Only
shame.
going to Chili's because we have a Chili's in Japan in base. Okay. Only going to Chili's, Domino's
Oh,
Pizza, going to, we have also Popeyes, that was the only thing. And I always tell them, hey, why you don't go out? Let's go to the festival in Yokohama. Hey, let's go to Kyoto.
yeah.
Let's go, to different places. They refuse. And even though that for us, we think that, oh, but why not? You'd be surprised how many people do not leave their comfort zone to get to know what is out there.
That's such a shame. There's so much to experience and see. And if you're going out with friends or family or those who have, been out there, that's the best way. Yeah, it's a little scary at first, but when you do it once or twice, you get accustomed to it. You start to break out and you find that those new experiences aren't so scary to begin with. Actually, it was probably the best thing. Now you've got memories you can take with you, like, and you're using this
Yes.
experiences in your books, which is just really really great. So if you wouldn't mind, what's one of the strategies that you use in your books to help people, get accustomed to new cultures?
One of the strategies, it's a lot with cognitive. Cognitive, which it works with a lot of retrospective. Is that the word?
I think
No,
so.
my accent sometimes. So basically, there's a lot of different exercises where you put yourself right now in where you are
Mhm.
and you start digging into what are the benefits or what are the good things that you have right now. Then you compare yourself with what you have before. And when you start looking at what you have before and what you have now, what are the benefits of those, the before and after? The majority of the people, they only look at the past when they don't see what are the goods of today.
Mhm.
We only look at the bad parts of today. We don't look at the good parts, at the good things that I have. For
Yeah.
example, right now I can say, now I speak 2 languages. Now I'm more available to apply for better jobs. Now I can have a better income. So there's some exercises in the book that it can help you to see what you're doing right now, what are the good things that you're doing right now, and what are the things that you were doing before that you can say before was better than now. And you'd be surprised. Many people will say no, now is better.
Yeah.
Because because we don't take the time actually to look at what are the positive things that we have right now but we only look at the negative things that we have.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the strategy of the empty, the glass half empty and the glass half
Mhm.
full, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of that same strategy. But basically, when you are here now today, what you have today that is good, that you like it, that you are happy, that you're proud of yourself. That's one of the strategies in the book. The other strategy that I have in the book, I don't know if you are familiar with the self-talk, right?
Yes.
The way that we talk to ourselves.
Mhm.
A lot of the times we do not like to try new things because we always use the phrase, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't, or I'm afraid, or I don't want to, or I don't like it. Changing the way that we talk to ourselves is one of the ways that we can try new things. The way that we talk to ourselves have a lot to do with trying new things and see the glass half full instead
Yeah.
of half empty.
Mhm.
So that's some of the strategies. I have like a big chart with a lot of phrases that we use in a regular basis.
Good.
That you'd be surprised how you, oh wow, that phrase, I always use that phrase. And I give you an example. When somebody asks me for can I borrow $20? I don't say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have it. I say, I cannot locate that money in my budget today.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Instead of saying I don't have it, because when I say I don't have it, I'm already saying, boy, I don't even have $20. I'm really broke. So and maybe it's not true, but just that saying I don't have that
Yeah.
is already limiting yourself. So there's a whole list of a lot of phrases that we use on a regular basis that are changing in a positive way, so it can help you change the way that you think, your self-talk. Another great strategy that I have in the book is sometimes we do not find in ourselves the things that we like. And I'm sure, because I have heard your podcast many times, and some of your guests have bring this subject, the son of genius.
Mhm.
What is your son of genius? What is the things that you like to do and that you do the best? Sometimes the reason why we don't change that job is because really we don't know in what position we will be better, or
Mhm.
in what type of job we will be more successful.
Yeah.
We just stay in that job because that's the one that pay the bills. That's the money that we have right now. We don't dare. In a lot of these, even with migrating, it had to do with you daring to actually come to this country. In my case, it was my mother bring me,
Mhm.
but I could have go back when I become an adult. I could have go back, but I dared to stay. And I said, okay, you know what? Let's stay. It's just gonna keep going. But a lot of times, the reason why we don't find a better job, or we don't find a better relationship, or the town where we really like, is because we really don't know what we like. So there's a good exercise that it help you find your son of genius, where you are good. What is that type of job that you would do? And it doesn't matter if they don't pay you, you still would do it.
I really like how you said, the I can't. It already puts a defeatist mindset onto you, like, oh, I can't. Oh, you're right. It deflates your even your courage. It deflates your ability to move forward. It's like, well, if I can, yeah, well, if I fail, I still did it, but I can do it. Oh, eventually it just takes more practice. I'm still new at this, and yeah, you're probably not going to be great at it when you start. Experts in every field have started somewhere, and they most likely failed a lot. So it's, I think, doing that, I might not be able to do it right now, but like, I think adding on to what you said, looking into the future, what can I do? And then if you measure your progress in the now, go, wow, I'm able to get this far now. I look back and go, wow, I was only able to get so before. I've made progress. Even if it's only an inch forward, you're still making progress. So that, drop that T off the can't, and you have an I can. And I think you can just, people, like you say, will move forward, will hopefully take risks. And yeah, risks might not work out for you, but sitting in the same job, same place, not going anywhere, not trying, you're just either you're not going to be happy or not going to be maybe even successful. You got to take risks. You got to say I can. So I really like all that's just really good, positive mindset, positive self-talk that people just need to, grab by the reins and go for it.
Yes, exactly. And I told you there's a lot of resistance in learning a new language.
Oh yeah.
There's
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of resistance. And this is why a lot of and I'm gonna say, in my own culture, a lot of Hispanic people we just stay in the same surrounding, and we say, well, I just came here when I already was 20, 30. There's no way I can learn English. That's one of the things that I have in the book too. In the back, there's a section where you can have the basic concepts like English 101,
Cool.
that he give you, the basic English lessons. And then at the end of the book, it also have resources. And I put resources because I am not like I am born and grow up in the United States. I born and grow up in Puerto Rico, but I consider myself 100% Americans. Puerto Ricans we have the blue passport, like they call, we are Americans due to the deal, that we're not in a state, but we are a commonwealth
Yes.
of United States.
Yes.
So I feel that to me, when I sing the United States hymn, it's my hymn, the national anthem. I sing the national anthem like it's mine, and I respect the nation as it's mine, right? But a lot of times we come thinking, oh, okay, I don't want to learn the language. I wanted to stay with my culture. If I go and adopt another culture, then I am defeating my own culture. I'm being
Sure.
betrayed in my culture,
Yeah.
and it's okay to honor the one where you are, because it's part of respect and appreciation, but also honor yours,
Yeah.
right? The one where you're born and where you grew up. So we find a lot of resistance in our community of learning another language because we think that we're already too old, but you can always try to honor that country by trying the best that you can in learning that language, in
Yeah.
trying to communicate with them. And sometimes we think, oh my goodness, they're not going to understand what I'm saying. I noticed that they love our accent. You guys, I'm going to say you guys because you grew up here in the
Yeah.
United States, you're born in the United States, right? You're American.
Yep.
You love our accent.
I
And we
love
sometimes
accents.
don't dare to speak, but they all love our accent. They
Yeah.
love that we trying, but we have to try.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I put at the end of the book that I was telling you is I put all the resources there in the United States for people that are immigrants. When they come here, they have no clue how much this nation have helped the immigrants to actually be successful.
Yeah.
We just need to do the work. We just need to find those resources, try to adapt the best that you can, and appreciate that you are here today.
Absolutely. And you brought up a good point. It sounds like a lot of that resistance, fighting against I don't want to betray my culture. It sounds a lot of, guilt. It's like I would betray my ancestors, my, mother and father if I started speaking English. But what's funny is working in the schools years ago there was one student who I actually saw her grow up from kindergarten all the way to about just out middle school. And she was amazing. She had she spoke Spanish fluently. I can't remember where. I want to say it was Guatemala or Mexico, where she originally was from. But anytime her parents would come in, she would interpret back and forth from kindergarten all the way up. It got to the point where we would pull her from a class so she could help interpret for other kids. And she just
Oh,
became
wow.
this hub of just communication. And I'm like, she could go between English and Spanish with just bat and eyelash, and she could go in between the two conversations. I'm like, just think about how resilient and flexible she can be, and how useful she will be in her own life, going like, I can go work in a place with two languages and thrive in this area now. And it killed me though, because the adults, her parents or uncles and aunts, were just not doing that. I'm like, man, you could do so much if you had two languages under your belt. Like, she was just doing so well, it was, I wanted to see how far she could go in life with just that knowledge, with us two languages so well ingrained and organized in her head. It was really impressive. So
Yes,
a lot of
yes,
opportunity there for when you push yourself and you learn and grow. So I definitely recommend doing all the stuff that you're talking about with it too.
yes.
Now, so before we started, you were talking about your business, because you moved into a new brick and mortar place. Can you talk about what
Mhm.
your business is? Because I'm really curious about that.
Yes. So, as you know, I also, last year I have a podcast and I suspend the podcast because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to continue embracing the Latino community, to involve, to grow, to be successful. So I decided to open an office where I help a startup business, Latino startup business. But of course, everyone that come to the door, not only Latino, but because I speak Spanish, I offer that service that I can translate them a lot of forms and a lot of things. We have a lot of landscapers, we have a lot of plumbing, we have a lot of construction, we have a lot of services that we
Yeah,
offer, the Hispanic community offer. But a lot of times they don't dare to go into their own business because they don't know how to build the structure of their business, how
right.
to do an LLC, how to do the marketing campaign, how to create an image, how to open a bank account, or even how to do their payroll. They don't do, and they don't dare to grow because that they stay, as an employee, and which is okay to stay as an employee if that
Sure.
worked for you. Hey, no problem with that. We need employees too, right? But if you are a business owner and you need to make your business bigger, or you are thinking in an idea that you want to open a business, that's what we do. And so it's called We Support Group. It's in Federal Way, in Pacific Highway,
Yeah.
which I love. Federal Way. Federal Way is such a nice city. Really like it, like the activity, like the business owners around here are very supporting, the chambers, everyone. It's been welcome me. I'm super happy for this. I was a little bit worried
Sure.
because nowadays they were talking so much about the crime activity in the town and whatever, and you know what, no, we just have to still believing in humans and
Yeah.
in humanity,
Mhm.
and give it a try, and it's working fantastic. So what I offer is startup help for startup business, bookkeeping, payroll, translations of documents, notarizations, creation of documents, copy, fax, anything that a business owner needs.
Wow, that's quite the service. That's quite. Is it just you, or do you have employees too?
I have one CPA that is working with me
Oh, good.
also, and she's very good. She's very talented. She was actually a teacher at the University of Mexico, so she's very talented as well. So yes,
That's
we
awesome.
have good people here. I'm
That's
very
great.
happy.
Congratulations on that. That's a big step, going from, digital
Thank you.
online to brick and mortar. That is a huge step. So I wish you all the success, and hopefully people just flock to you and get all their, you help with business licensing and all that fun stuff too. To get
Yes,
all coming off
everything.
the ground. That's so
Yes.
cool. Well, that's great. And so when you just moved in,
We just opened in January.
oh my
Just
gosh.
opened the
Okay.
doors in January. Yes, we
Wow.
just been here 2 months and we already so busy.
Good.
And one of the slogan is, this is a business wellness center,
Yeah.
because right now even it's just a little office. My vision is to be a big center,
Heck yeah.
where we be able to help small business owners or medium business owners, to grow and to create. But one of the things that we are offering to the community, and this one we're doing it for free, is we are providing free computer and fraud classes to our
Oh,
seniors. And
great.
that doesn't have to be if it's just if it's Hispanic or English speaker. It doesn't matter. The classes will be presented in whichever language is necessary, if it's in English or in Spanish. But what we wanted to do is to help our senior community to be involved in this new monster, because they see it like a monster of technology.
Oh
We
yeah.
have left our seniors behind. almost everything you have to pay it online. Your phone bill, your electricity bill. But at the same time, there's a lot of not good people out there. They're taking advantage of our seniors.
Oh yeah, them
And
scammers.
there's a lot of fraud and they're scamming them. When it's Medicare time, you have to see how their phones are bombarded with all kinds of people calling them
Ugh.
for
God.
the new Medicare Part B. And the same thing with emails. We have your deposit available, and they click because they're thinking that that's true. They have a
Yeah.
deposit available, and it's just somebody phishing. So
Yeah.
we are creating on a quarterly basis, and through the year, we're creating these classes for our seniors. And the list is open right now. If anyone that is listening to your show
Yep.
want to and again, it's free for seniors. If anyone that want to join the class that is not a senior, then they have to pay. But it's not an expensive class. It don't run more than $20 per class.
Right.
But if they're seniors, it's completely free. And that's part of the way that we want to contribute to the community, because I see the need. I work for the Department of Defense in the VA department, and I see that a lot of our seniors, when they have to get paid, the VA, you have to do it online. There's no other way. And those poor seniors, sometimes they didn't get paid for 3 or 4 months because they didn't know how to put their debit card or the credit card or their account in the system.
No. Yeah. Well, that's an
And
awesome service. That's a great service you're putting.
yes,
I didn't even think about that for folks who just are not technologically savvy. They didn't grow up there writing, checks and going down to the bank and doing the deposit themselves instead of doing everything online. Because literally, like you said, everything is online now.
everything. And this is now. AI, artificial intelligence is gonna grow more
It
and
is.
more and more, and eventually it's gonna be to the point where we're not gonna be able to think. I think if it's not thinking in a computer, right? So this is why I want to offer that service for seniors, because it's very important that they get feel something. They don't have to know everything, but at least that they can get the basic.
Yeah, get some familiarization with it. That might help. And then at least get their routines down so that they know their bills are being paid. They know that, hey, this guy seems a little fishy. Don't open that. If it's a little odd, just delete it. Don't worry about it. Maybe ask your kids or friends who are a little more savvy just to look at it before you start clicking and inputting your information in. So I also wanted to get from you, what kind of feedback have you gotten from your book?
Well, I was Amazon bestseller for women migration books.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Just when it get published.
Wow.
And the Portuguese part haven't been published yet. It's going to be published in a couple of months. But we have a lot of Portuguese speaker people that have always reached me through the Facebook and the Instagram social media. Yes. And so it's not in English. Not in English yet.
Yes,
but eventually will be. And not because there's a lot of people that migrate to United States, the English speaker.
Yeah,
there's people that migrate from England. There's people that migrate from other countries that they speak English.
Yeah.
But so far it's just in Spanish. But yes, I have a lot of good feedback. As a matter of fact, it's interesting. One person came and got 2 books today.
Great.
So
that's good.
Yes.
That's excellent. And so when if someone is interested in reading your book and they're not fluent in Spanish, do you know about time frame when the English version will be available?
The time frame will be sometimes this next fall.
Okay.
Between October and November, something like that.
That's pretty good. That's not too long. I mean, it takes a long time to translate. No, it's
not too long.
It takes a long time to translate.
Yes, it is. It took me a whole year to translate it in Portuguese.
Oh my goodness. So I can't
because the meanings are not the same.
Correct.
The meanings are not the same. Translated is not like Google Translate that you say translate this document and it goes no. You have to be sure that what you're trying to transmit with that phrase or that that word is the same one that they're going to receive.
Yeah, Google Translate.
It's a lot of responsibility for the writer.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No. So definitely take your time on that. Make sure what you're conveying is is what you mean. That's what's on paper is what you meant. So
Yes.
there's another
Yes.
author I've talked to, and she's German, and she's done, oh gosh, 9 or 10 books, and all she's written them in English, and then she translates them to German on her own. And it's just, I'm like, that is so much work. You've already
Wow.
edited it in English. I mean, that's her second language. And then she has edited it back to German. I'm like, that is so much work. So
Wow.
I commend you
Yes.
for doing this too, going to Portuguese and then going to English. That's a lot of work. So, but that
Yes.
grabs more audiences. People, I think other people will. Everyone can at least learn something from trying to be more adaptable in a new culture. So, wide market there, I think, for you. And then, are there going to be?
Thank
You
you.
have any other books in the future, or is it you're going to work on this
Um,
one and just make this your?
yes, yes. I'm actually working with someone that you probably know, Patrick.
I know
Working
you, Mr.
into
Patrick Snow. He
yes.
gets around. He knows a lot of
Yes.
people. It's
Yes,
good to know.
actually have a project with Patrick, and that one is going to be in English, but it's mostly empowering for women, for women in business. And when you want to bring your culture to another way of doing business.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
it's interesting. It's a very interesting book. And yes, I will let you know when that one is ready. That one is definitely
Please,
going to be in English.
please. Oh, actually, and I hope you do translate it to Spanish and Portuguese and other languages too, because people are people that love to know how to be, empowered to get into business, and it sounds like a great speaking topic too. So, I mean, probably go speaking to business councils and all sorts of things, and probably people would love to
Yes.
hear from you and your experience being, well traveled and yeah, businesswoman yourself. So, I think they would love to hear from you. Lastly, where can people get copies of your book?
Well, they are in Amazon.
Okay.
They're also on my business office, but if they can go to Amazon, in Amazon they can find it, Floreciendo en otras tierras sin perder tu acento, or they can just search by my name and they will find the book just by my name, which is probably easier. Iris
Excellent.
Miranda, like the Miranda rights. I know everybody knows that. So
Yes.
if
Yes.
they can search it as an author, they can find the book in there.
Great. That is so good. Well, I hope you great success with both the book and the business. And thank you so much for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule. It's getting busier and busier, which is great. Business is booming. So, and thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all what you do with your books and with your show. We really appreciate it. Many
My
blessings to you.
Oh, thank you so much. My absolute pleasure. I love doing it. I loved helping people and hopefully promoting and getting more people coming to you so they can get their businesses and everything off the ground and start making some money and having a good living at doing what they love to do. So I think it's all good stuff. It's all great stuff. Well, I think that's it for us, everyone. I hope you had a great time listening. Go get her book, even if you don't speak Spanish. Go get it, and I think you quoted and said it's a good learner's guide. If you're brand new to Spanish, they can look it up and start learning a little bit. So, I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, so maybe I'll even look look around at it and see. So, I look forward to the English version. So, I will definitely be able to
Thank you.
jump on that. So, everybody, I hope you have a great day. And remember to stay mighty and keep reading.
Are you an author? Do you know someone who is? If so, then message me, Ryan Oliver, at ryanmoliver.com to set up a free appointment to discuss being showcased on the Mighty Books podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the Mighty Books YouTube channel and share the link to this and more episodes with your friends and family. Thanks for listening. So long for now. Stay mighty and keep reading.